Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. That's not how I'm singing it. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. That's not how I'm singing it. Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari. That's not how I'm singing it. Adi. I'm singing it differently. It's good to follow the singer. Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajanaran. Jamuna Tira Vanatari. Jamuna Tira Vanatari. Tira Vanatari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanatari. Jamuna Tira Vanatari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanatari. The reason I'm saying Adi, because that the way Prabhupada sung is going to be lost in due course. I mean, it's a nice melody, sing it sometimes, but it's not the way Prabhupada used to do it. And eventually, everything, you know, that's why it matters. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of concourse, we should first offer respects to the personality of God in Narayan, unto the Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, the goddess alluding Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. So, we are chanting from the 4th canto, chapter 8, text 55, right? Oops. Salilai Suchibir Malyar Vanyar Mula Paladibihi Shastankuram Sukaish Chachit Tulasya Priyaya. You got to turn this up just a little bit. There's somewhere in between. Prabhum Salila Suchabir Malya Vanyamula Paladibihi Shastankuram Shukaish Chachet Sulasya Priyaya Prabhum Salila Suchabir Malya Vanyamula Paladibihi Shastankuram Shukaish Chachet Tulasya Priyaya Prabhum Salila Suchibir Malya Vanyamula Paladibihi Shastankuram Shukaish Chachet Tulasya Priyaya Prabhum Salila Suchibir Malya Vanyamula Paladibihi Shastankuram Sakash Chachet Tulasya Priyaya Prabhum Salila Suchibir Malya Vanyamula Paladibihi Shastankuram Shukash Chachet Tulasya Priyaya Prabhum Salilai. By the use of water, Suchibi, being purified, Malyai, by garlands. By the way, this bounces out the oxymoron of dry cleaning. Unless there's water, things don't become purified, actually. I mean, you can purify by mantra, but that's not what they're doing with dry cleaning. It's an oxymoron. Suchibi, being purified. Malyai, by garlands. Vanyai, of forest flowers. Mula, roots. Paladibihi, by different kinds of vegetables and fruits. Shasta, newly grown grass. Ankura, buds. Amshukai, by the skin of trees, such as the burja. The burja, for those of you who are interested, is the Himalayan birch. Grows up to 14,000 feet high. Yeah. And the bark peels off. They actually used to use it for writing Shastra. Okay, where were we? Cha and Archet should worship Tulasya by the tulsi leaves, Priyaya, which are dear to the Lord, Prabhum, the Lord. Translation: one should worship the Lord by offering pure water, pure flower garlands, fruits, flowers, and vegetables, which are available in the forest, or by collecting newly grown grasses, small buds of flowers, and even the skins of trees, and if possible, by offering tulsi leaves, which are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Also you say, one should worship the Lord by offering pure water, pure flower garlands, fruits, flowers, and vegetables, which are available in the forest, or by collecting newly grown grasses, small buds of flowers, or even the skins of trees, and if possible, by offering tulsi leaves, which are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: it is specifically mentioned herein that tulsi leaves are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and devotees should take particular care to have tulsi leaves in every temple and center of worship. In the Western countries, while engaged in propagating the Krishna consciousness movement, we were brought great unhappiness because we could not find tulsi leaves. We are very much obliged, therefore, to our disciple, Srimati Govinda Dasi, because she has taken much care to grow tulsi plants from seeds, and she has been successful by the grace of Krishna. Now tulsi plants are growing in almost every center of our movement. Tulsi leaves are very important in the method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, the word Shalila means by the water. Of course, Dhruva Maharaj was worshipping on the banks of the Jamuna. The Jamuna and the Ganges are sacred, and sometimes devotees in India insist that the deity must be worshipped with water of the Ganges or the Jamuna. But here we understand Desha Kala, which is from the previous verse, to mean according to time and country. In the Western countries, there's no river Yamuna or Ganges. Waters from the sacred rivers is not available. Does this mean that the archer worship should, for that reason, be stopped? No. Salila refers to any water, whatever is available, but it must be very clear and collected purely. That water can be used. The other paraphernalia, such as flower garlands, fruits, vegetables, should be collected according to the country and according to their availability, not flown in from New Zealand green and with no taste. Tulsi leaves are very important in satisfying the Lord, so as far as possible an arrangement should be made for our growing tulsi leaves. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to worship the Lord with fruits and flowers available in the forest. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna frankly says that he accepts vegetables, fruits, flowers, etc. Of course, we're thinking of Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. One should not offer Lord Vasudeva anything other than what is prescribed herein by the great authority Narada Muni. One cannot offer the deity according to one's whims. Since these fruits and vegetables are available anywhere in the universe, we should observe this small point very attentively. Om Gena Timarandasya Gena Gena Salakaya Jakshu Shunmilitan Gena Tasare Shi Gurave Namaha. So, I was reading some of the earlier verses, and here we find real meditation. I remember going to I'd been coming to the temple, and I went to a Buddhist Namyo Renge Kyo. It was what they used to chant. I forget the rest of the thing. And they had a little altar, and on the altar there was some coins and a bagel. So I asked them, because I'd seen the devotees offering, and I said, why are you offering, what's up with this, coins and a bagel? And the guy said, well, I need money to pay my mortgage, and I'm running out of my food stamps. So the bagel is God feed me, or not God feed me, I want food, and I need money. So, and I remember the devotees, they were offering what Krishna wanted. So I was struck by the difference. One was worshiping to get what they want, and the other was worshiping what pleases Krishna. Can anyone think of a Mahavakyam, a cornerstone verse from the Christian tradition that Prabhupada used to point out this deficiency, this self-centered worship? Anyone can think of a verse? It's one of their, well, what to say? Yeah, it's the Lord's Prayer. It's their cornerstone, oh God, give us this day our daily bread. And what did Prabhupada say about this? Is this love of God? Is love of bread? Does anyone know why Mother Yasoda, we compare to Mother Yasoda, let's say this, but here's something before I forget. You know the milk boiled over on the, Mother Yasoda was boiling the milk to make sweets, right? And the milk boiled over, so she put baby Krishna aside, right? Do you know what? Because everything in the spiritual world is conscious. Prabhupada said the garlands, if you're too busy doing something else, will string themselves. The rice will tell you when it's done. So these things are going on. So the milk was conscious. Does anyone know why the milk boiled over?
Because if Krishna became satisfied with Yashoda's milk, then the milk on the stove would get a chance to serve.
Yeah, exactly. Did you just think of that yourself, or you heard it? No, that's very good. That's the first time I'd ever heard it, was in Vrindavan. That the milk was thinking that he's being suckled by Mother Yasoda, and he'll be satisfied, and he won't eat me. I won't be offered. So just to distract Krishna and get him to stop Mother Yasoda nursing him, the milk boiled over. So we can just imagine what kind of level things are happening in the spiritual world. We're stumbling along, Krishna unconscious, tripping over this, bumping into that, whereas everything in the spiritual world is a very high level of experience. Anyway, Mother Yasoda, the Christian supplicant, making his prayer, and they're there in the Hindus, Om Jaya Jagadishari, give me a new car and house by the sea. Or we find the Muslims, they want their 100 virgins. Everybody's asking for something, right? And God is there as the ultimate Amazon in the sky, or the Prabhupada's order supplier. But Mother Yasoda's, so they're thinking, if God doesn't take care of me, I'll die. Right? What is Mother Yasoda thinking? The exact opposite. If I don't take care of Krishna, then, he may get sick, he may get, she's got Krishna wearing so many amulets and to ward off this bad fortune and this, chanting all kinds of, every time some, demon is killed, Mother Yasoda makes an appeal that, somehow or other Krishna was saved, but next time we don't know. So this is a different mood. This is the, and I was just thinking about it that, Narada Muni, first off, he described Krishna. Well, what does spiritual life mean? What is meditation? What is yoga? Meditate on some dot on the wall or some crack, or I had a so-called friend before I became a devotee. He told me, he said, I had samadhi for 2 hours on a Coke bottle. In other words, he blocked everything out and was just fixed on the Coke bottle. So what? What is that all about? What is that? Okay, fine, you restrained your senses for a few minutes. If you put snakes in a basket, poisonous snakes, in the beginning they're hissing and striking against but after some time, what happens? They quiet down. So if you think, well, solve that problem, take the lid off and stick your head in to see what's happening, what will happen to you, Damodar? Huh? They'll bite you immediately. So even you may restrain the senses, Like suppose you're living on a desert island. This happen anyway, and you say, I am a celibate and a vegetarian. Because I couldn't catch any fish. I'm living on coconuts and there's nobody else. Well, what happens as soon as, And we even see it. We see it happens, they have the prison ministry. A lot of times guys in jail, or ladies I imagine, they chant 16 rounds, they follow the principles. What else are they going to do all day long? And what other temptation, But when they get out and other things are available, a lot of times they fall off the cliff. So, unless the first thing Narada Muni does, and we just, up until he gave the process, now he's giving the process. He's given the mantra, he's given the process, but what did he do first? Okay, tested. Okay, I guess I'm not being clear enough. If I'm going to meditate, Prabhupada gives example. If I open the phone book, Joe Schmidt, can you pour your heart out and give up all attachments for Joe Schmidt? Or let's make it easier. Let's say Josephine Schmidt. Might be a little easier if it's a woman. What is your first question? Suppose I say, Bhakti Zach, I mean, of course in the material arena because he's a nice brahmachari. But if I say, I just give your life to Josephine. And he says, okay, what are you going to ask before you, what's she look like? If I open up the door and she's, 250 pounds of fun, oh my God, a mustache, bad breath, acne. What? So Narada Muni is describing beautiful, and it's a good meditation, I can tell you. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I see the curved form of a tree, and I think of a woman. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu playing our role. So, let's be honest, the senses are attracted to things. But it is helpful to think, what will this woman look like in 20 years, in 10 years? My daughter, when she got married, and whatever, and her bridesmaids were there, and I was, there's so many things you have to do to get, if you're the father or the bride, oh, jeez. I woke up the day after the wedding, I felt liberated. I think, oh, why do I feel so relaxed? I thought, oh, because I don't have to do anything, But anyway, so at some point in time, the bridesmaids, the girls who are friends of even now, like Rukmini, she had all of her friends and, assistants. So even now you have a little something. So I remember them all talking, some of them were already married, and how they all practically starved themselves for a month before the wedding. You know why? So they'd look great in the pictures. So they could fit in their wedding gown and look great. As soon as the wedding's over, they just dive in. You look at you see them after, you see the guys. They get married, 20 pounds within the first 5-6 years. Same thing with the woman. They just balloon out because they hook the guy. They don't have to worry about it anymore, So, who to give our love to? Narada Muni describes beautiful Krishna. There was a whole set of verses before we start. Okay, now we know what is the most worthy goal. Why give our love to some, what's going to happen? They're going to, you see these old geezers. I don't mean to be blunt, but, Jayadvaita Maharaj, as long as we're all men here. Jayadvaita Maharaj, his grandfather was in the hospital. So Jayadvaita Swami went to see his grandfather. And they were giving him a class on how to have sex after 80. Jayadvaita was like, I mean, hang it up. I mean, there comes a point that it just becomes disgusting. I mean, come on, give it up. They got to hang you from, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but just to get the thing to function, I mean, it's pathetic. It's embarrassing. So why put our love there? You know, Prabhupada says you make Krishna your son, he'll never grow old. You make a Krishna your lover, he'll never leave you. Make Krishna your master, he'll never send you away. So that's where we should put our love, our most valuable thing. People say more than money, more than, you know, whatever it is, to love and be loved. To love and have that love reciprocated, it is the most powerful force in the world. People risk their life, people give up everything. Romeo and Juliet, they gave up their family. I mean, it's the basic theme of practically every play, every poem, every movie. And when that love is unrequited, you know, unreciprocated, the theme is that, you know, Beauty and the Beast. Finally, she looks beyond the, you know, the beastly fangs and bad breath and sees the good intention and the golden heart. So to love and be loved, it's the most powerful. It's what everybody's looking for. And we take that essential driving force and give it to Josephine, who's going to put on 30 pounds and fall apart and dump us for the guy she met at the supermarket. I mean, how stupid can you be? So Narada's explaining here, first, how we should give our love to Krishna. Who is Krishna? His beautiful features, how he's dressed, beautiful feet, lotus eyes, nose. Everything about Krishna. Everything is perfect. The last line of Gayatri, before you get the sannyas mantra, describes Krishna as he's the Kamadeva, he's the sublime Cupid who with his arrows assault the senses. This is raganuga, spontaneous devotion. That the senses, you can't restrain the senses. Just as currently the senses are spontaneously attracted to material things. Smelling this, that, you know. Prabhupada said, you want to touch a woman, touch Tulsi. You know, the senses are attracted to so many things. But imagine what it must be like to have the senses. You can't, like what is it, Kunti, as the water flows down to the ocean, you can't stop it. The Army Corps of Engineers, can they stop the Mississippi from going to the ocean? Forget it. They may change the course a little bit, but you can't stop it. It'll go up, over, down, around, underneath. You can't stop it. So imagine what it must be like. Instead of, I mean, right now we're just trying to pull our mind back from wherever it is, you know. As Krishna instructs in Bhagavad, we're just trying to keep it on a steady course and it's always going off and we're just, you know, we're fatigued at the end of the day. I got to take rest after struggling with my mind all day. I need a break. So imagine what it must be like to have that, the reverse. That you can't stop. The gopis say, we don't want to hear about Krishna. We don't want to hear Krishna's flute. But we can't stop thinking about Krishna. Imagine what a wonderful state that must be. So, Narada is explaining that first, beautiful Krishna, how that's where we should give our love. Then he gives the mantra, and then he gives the process. And according to time, place, and circumstance. And Prabhupada has perfectly, just as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, adjusted according to time, place, and circumstance. Srila Prabhupada has perfectly crafted. That is the perfection of a doctor. We all know, so I can reference it. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told us the same story so many times. He had them numbered. And he would just say, just like number 2. Or just like number 4. And the audience would laugh because they knew what the application. He would sometimes greet people. Oh, very nice to meet you. You're a number 7. And the person would have no idea, but the disciples would immediately understand because they knew, oh, that's story number 7, you know. So, what was I going to say? So, Prabhupada knew the perfect psychology and crafted it how we could become Krishna conscious. We don't have to, what do we know? If we're so bright, you know, the most difficult thing is to follow. Prabhupada, what is our disease? What did Prabhupada say is the American or Western disease? Change everything, to always change. So, if we're so bright, like Prabhupada said, how do you, it's a joke, and Prabhupada used to tell it, or you know, just a quick saying, how can you tell if someone is intelligent? Prabhupada said, if they open their pockets and there's money. If they got money, it means they must have some brains, you know? If, you know, there's those, you know, how to get rich quick books. And there was one, you know what it said inside? There's only 3 pages. Write a book like this and convince everyone to buy it. And you'll get rich. How to get rich quick. So, how to... Prabhupada knew our psychology. He knew our mentality. And he crafted, just as Narada Muni is giving the process here. So, Prabhupada has given us the perfect process. We just have to follow it. And have confidence. One of the things we say about Dhruva is that within 6 months, it's pretty fast, right? I mean, you can't even get first in, it's 6 months before you can take shelter, isn't it? That's how it works, you know? But if we actually think about it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it completely sublime. The combination of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada have crafted the perfect system. You just have to follow it. It's not complicated. The essence of the thing. When my mother passed away, before she left her body, 15 minutes before she died, she opened her eyes. I was sitting there, and she said to me, she said, "Do you think I'll come back as a devotee?" I said, "Definitely, Mom, 100%. She closed her eyes, put her head back on the pillow, and said, "That'd be good. That'd be very good." She died a few minutes later. So, but the point I wanted to make was that when we cleared out her house, we found a box up in her closet. And it was stuff that we had made, my brother and my sister and I, as kids. There was a Valentine that I'd made. And it was supposed to be a heart. It didn't really, you know, I was 4 years old. I mean, and it was, I made the heart, and the coloring was all out of the line. It was, I love L-U-V-U with a U, And my mom kept it. I gave her so many other things growing up. But that simple innocence. She had an ashtray. Not even an ashtray. It was a handprint that my sister had made. I mean, we all did it as we were kids. You put your hand in a clay and you write, "Happy birthday, Mom," or whatever it is. She kept it. Why? He had so many things worth millions of dollars. But that's what why? Anyone want to say? Why? Yeah, because it was pure, I mean, as pure as things get in this world. It was pure innocent love. And that's what mattered. So in the same way, what Prabhupada was if you can actually hear it. They've cut out, but you can hear the sound in the background. When Prabhupada was giving the lectures, the Nectar of Devotion lectures at Radha Damodar Temple, there was a lady, and she would come. I mean, you can see it now. If you go to the Radha Damodar courtyard, there's a gate. And she would come every morning, just as Prabhupada was starting to give his lecture. And you all know the sounds if you've been to India. When you've got those metal handles and you put the bucket down, what sound do you hear? There's a clang. There's a clang. It's a loud sound of the handling. So this lady would come. Now she was, probably 65, 70 years old. She would put, to lock the gate, she would come through, she would put the bucket, clang, she'd lock the gate. So after this happened a couple days, Guru Kripa, who else, went over to chastise her because she was interrupting Prabhupada's lecture. And when Prabhupada saw what he was going to do, he said, stop. He said, do not bother her. Prabhupada said, every single day since she was a little girl, 6 years old, 7 years old, every day, early in the morning, dark, cold, rain, whatever, she's walked to the Jamuna, brought back 2 buckets of Jamuna water for bathing the deity. Never missed a day. Never missed a day. Prabhupada said, and Prabhupada said, at the end of this life, she will go back to Godhead. When the devotees went over to tell her what Prabhupada said, that she didn't want to hear it. She just covered her ears. She didn't want to hear it. She had her Damodar. She was bringing him water, and that was sufficient, So we should be conscious of what we're doing. That Krishna is real. He's standing right there, standing there. And when we say, oh, I have to do the arti. You don't have to do anything. You can go home. Not back home, back to Godhead. You can go back to whatever rock we crawled out of. Go back to El Cajon or go back to Auckland or Oakland or wherever it was. We can all go back. You don't have to do. They can join the army. They'll feed you. They even have those guys who were in jail so long, they don't know how to live outside. And when they get outside, they just break a window and wait for the alarm to go off and the police to come because they go back. No, it happens. They're insecure living outside the prison. They go back to the prison, they don't have to worry. They got a bed to sleep in, they get meals, they got a place to bathe, There's a certain security in that. So, you can go to jail. They'll feed you. You can go to the army. They'll feed you. So, we don't have to do anything. You don't have to be in this building. But, therefore, we should perform our acts with love. And I wanted to say one other, I think I had a story I wanted to tell, but maybe that was it. About Tulsi leaf. The importance of Tulsi. He's still in Mayapur. He's one of the pujaris. His name is Anakadundubi, which means it's a name for Krishna who was born to the sound of the beating of drums. It's Anakadundubi. You can hear the drums in the background, So, Kanai Balai, have you been to India? Oh, we got to get you there. Anyway, the Jagannath temple was donated. That's a whole other blissful story. But the Jagannath temple, originally, it's 500 years old, had been abandoned, so many things. But there was no kitchen there. So when we took over the temple, they used to cook at Mayapur, at the ISKCON Mayapur, and then the devotee would load up one of those tiffins and pedal over to the Mayapur temple, the Jagannath temple, and offer Lord Jagannath prasadam. So Anakadundubi Prabhu pedaled over there and then realized, I don't have Tulsi leaves. What to do? I could pedal all the way back. It's by bike, it's probably 30 minutes, I don't know, something like that. But then the prasad will be cold, the offering will be late. What do I do? So he went back and forth, and finally he concluded, which is the right conclusion, that, you know, better I offer Krishna's, but Krishna doesn't accept an offering unless there's tulsi leaf. It was a big, you know, issue. And he finally concluded, better I offer the prasad while it's hot, because I have no way to heat it up again. You know, so he went in, offered the prasadam, closed the curtain, prayed, said, Lord Jagannath, I promise I'll never forget. I will never forget again, but please accept your offering. And when he opened the curtain, on every prep, on every plate, because there were 3 plates, was a beautiful big manjari. So Lord Jagannath had just taken, he wanted them. He said, yeah, it's important. It's all right, I'll accept it this time, but don't forget, you know. So, just as a sidelight, to give some credence to that story, the Pujari only had 4 daughters. He had 4 daughters, no sons. There was no one to carry on the puja. And therefore he wanted to give it to ISKCON because he knew ISKCON would take care of it. But also, along with the temple itself and the deity, there was land. And as you know, you go to this, like you go to Radha Damodar temple and there's 4 sets of deities, you know, it's Radha Gokulananda temple. You wonder why these different sets of deities. Each of those deities used to have their own temple. And with the temple, there were land, there were cows, there were shops on Loy Bazaar where they paid rent and it helped support the deity. But what they did, the Goswami, so-called Goswami families, is why maintain 4 temples? Why not just amalgamate? Yeah, I can't. You know what I mean. Why not just combine them, put all the deities on one altar, only have 1 temple, only do 1 puja, and then we can sell off the lands and save money and live fat and happy. I mean, who knows what the karma for that is. But that's what they're thinking. So Jayapataka Maharaj said, this is when he could travel and all that, he said, do not, you know, we want to take over the puja. We want to worship Lord Jagannath and get him in a nice condition. But for the long-term best interest, don't start the puja until all the paperwork is signed legally. Don't start the puja. Because once we start the puja, if we don't have the papers, he'll stall it, he'll try to sell off parts, so many things will happen. So just, you have to wait. And then Jayapataka went traveling. He was out of station for a couple months. When he came back, they'd started the puja. The guide told him, oh, the paperwork's, you know, it's finished, you'll have it in 3 days, start the worship now. But he hadn't given the papers. So Jayapataka Maharaj told him, you have to stop the worship. You have to stop for the long-term interest of Lord Jagannath. And now you see, they've got that rose garden and they've got that wedding mandap. It's really a nice setup. So all of that would have been lost. I mean, Jayapataka Maharaj was right. So he said, you have to stop the puja. So they stopped the puja. You know what happened? 3 days later, Jananivas, Pankajangari, Anakadundubi, Jayapataka Maharaj, and Bhavananda all had the same dream. Rushed to Mangalarti after the night they had the dream, independently. They all said, I had this dream last night. You know what the dream was? In the dream, Lord, and to get to you have to go out to the main road. You go to Bhaktisiddhanta Marg. You go almost to Chandkasi's place. Then you come up to the Mayapur, to the Jagannath temple. But as the crow flies, or as the swan flies, it's directly across the rice paddy, you know. That's, you know, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So, or just like this. So in their dreams, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra were coming, floating like this, coming across the rice field. And each of the devotees, those 5 devotees, in their dreams said, Lord Jagannath, where are you going? Why have you left your temple? And Lord Jagannath said, you stopped my puja. Balaram said, we're going to eat with Radha Madhava. Subhadra said, especially the sweets, especially the sweets. So they wanted prashada. So the devotees, Jayapataka said, all right, let's start they started the puja and everything worked out, you know. But Tulsi leaf, they were trying to weigh Krishna on a pan balance, you know. And the gopis put all their bangles, they put everything on one side. Still, Krishna weighed more. What did they do? Anyone know the answer? Took all their bangles, took everything off, and they just put one tulsi leaf. Whoosh, it immediately weighed more than Krishna. So Prabhupada said about tulsi. And the point is devotion, love. That's what attracts Krishna. And Prabhupada's given us everything we need, the perfect process. Just follow, which we have so much trouble doing. All right, we can end there. Anyone have a question? All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.